Yes. Hello, are you Mirav? Yes. Hello, I'm Dorit. Yes, sit please. I'm Moran, your mother. We spoke on the phone and agreed to meet, remember? May I? Go ahead. Okay, look, I came to see you because I have a very big problem with the way that you teach your Connect classes. The kids aren't learning anything. It's a problem we didn't have last year. I have no idea why they replaced the previous teacher. I can't remember her name right now, but so she. So she. Without getting into their reasons, what I do know is that there has been no learning in your class for the past month, and this is unacceptable. Okay, well, first of all, calm down, calm down. The school has its reasons for making certain decisions, and those decisions are for the school to make. The school is responsible for what happens inside the classroom, and you, as a parent, are responsible for the student, for your daughter at home. No, excuse me. My daughter is failing, but she is in a classroom that is failing. Okay? I've spoken with other mothers, and it's not just my daughter. There are concerned parents here, and I'm speaking on their behalf. There is something wrong. Maybe you're not explaining the material or something. Maybe you don't know the material well enough. I'm not inside the class. I'm not familiar with the learning process. What I do know are the results, and they are problematic, and it has to be dealt with. Okay, first of all, let's talk to one another like adults, okay? Now, with all due respect to the fact that you've spoken to other parents as well and consulted with them, that is not the best way to know what's going on in the classroom. I, as a teacher, know what is going on in my classroom, and as a whole, there is learning in 10 classes. Now, we can't move on like this, okay? You came here because Moran has a problem, so let's talk about that. You want us to talk about Moran? Okay. I look at her notebook this year and it's terrible. It's unacceptable. My daughter's notebooks just do not look like this in any other subject, thankfully. I've never seen such a mess. She doesn't have notes from class. She doesn't have the lesson summaries. What she does have is incomprehensible. For the last exam, she studied everything from her friend's notebook, okay? I think it's a really big problem. I think that my child shouldn't have to suffer because they replaced the teacher. Maybe it's not your fault that they found a substitute teacher, but it is unacceptable for my child to be getting such low grades. Okay, that's all. I don't blame you, but her grade this year is 15 points below her 10 grade from last year. Aside from different teaching methods, I can't see any other reason for this because my child is a smart girl. First of all, I'm aware of your daughter's grades, and second, you're right. There are different teaching methods, okay? It's possible that the previous teacher's style was more suitable for Moran, but Moran is a student, and it's partially her responsibility as a student to adapt herself to a variety of teaching methods. Besides, this issue is insignificant in my opinion. What matters is what happens in my classroom, and as you've said, you're really not in class and you don't know what happens in the classroom. So let me tell you what's really going on. I don't know. Moran doesn't act like someone who wants to study. It doesn't seem like Tanak is an important subject to her, okay? She chats with her friends during class. She doesn't always listen. I find myself having to go to her personally and tell her to take her books out. That kind of behavior tells me that she's not really interested in learning the subject. Now, is it possible that she didn't study properly for the exam? What do you mean? What are you talking about? Where are these questions coming from? She studied a lot for this exam. She studied well. For this exam, of course, she studied well. You know what? It's not even a question because she spends time studying at home. She's a diligent girl and she's a good student. The only question is what you mean to do about it. It's not Look, I'll tell you what you're saying into account, but you need to understand that it's a two-way street here, okay? I don't know what happened last year with Moran studying. I can tell you, and I repeat that, I do know what's happening this year with Moran, and this year she's not acting like a student who really cares about the subject, okay? She chats during class, she doesn't listen properly. This is not the behavior of a student who truly cares about succeeding, okay? Now I don't know. Try and talk to her. Maybe check and see why it is so hard for her to listen. Maybe then you'll realize that it's not that she doesn't understand, it's just that she doesn't try hard enough in class. Besides, Moran is a big girl. If she doesn't understand something, it's her responsibility to come and tell me, to come to me during my office hours. And she knows exactly when that is. I can't tell what's happening inside of every student's mind, and it's not my job to do that either. It's her responsibility as a student, okay? Maybe I'll explain again. Beyond that, the level of difficulty has also changed. The material gets harder every year. It could be that this is why it's harder for her this year. Okay, my girl is a smart girl, okay? She is a good student in all of the other subjects, but she's failing in your class. That's the deal. There's a problem in your class, alright? I won't have my daughters think that she's a failure because of something like this. I won't have that. I want to know what we are going to do about it. The question is not whether she is making an effort or not, because she is. In our house, studying comes first. So I want to know, how do we go on from here? I already told you. Go to her, talk to her, tell her what I said. Pass the message on to her that she has to take responsibility here. Tell her that if she is having a difficult time, she is welcome to come to me during my office hours. Other than that, we'll talk later on in the year and see what happens. Fine, we'll talk later on because I need to know how she is progressing. But I don't believe it will help because, as I've said, the problem is not with Moran. I'm very sorry. Thank you. Goodbye. Bye. Yes, hello, you're Mirav. Yes, hello, I'm Dorit. Hello. I'm Moran Yakov's mother. We spoke on the phone and decided to meet. Yes, please. Well, here's the deal. I wanted to see you because there's a big problem with your Tanakh class. The kids aren't learning anything. It's not a problem we're familiar with from last year. I don't know why they replaced the previous teacher. I can't remember her name. Soshi? Exactly, Soshi. I don't know what the considerations were. I'm not getting into that either. What I do know is that there is a serious problem. There has been no proper learning in your class for a whole month now, and this is unacceptable. Okay, first of all, let's start over, okay? I'm Mirav, and I'm very happy to see you because you sounded agitated on the phone, and it seems to me that you came here to talk about an important issue. So let's see, how can I help you? Okay, first of all, I apologize for starting like that, but the thing is, again, there is no proper learning in your class. This can't continue. My child's grades are 15 points lower than her grade in Tanakh last year, okay? It's not just my daughter. I've spoken with other mothers as well. There's a problem. Maybe you're not explaining the material well enough. I don't know. I'm not in the classroom, but there's something going on that we didn't see last year. It wasn't like that last year. Last year they had written summaries. She summarized everything for them. It was organized, and this year it isn't. And it's an important subject, so this can't go on. Okay, so you're saying two things here. One thing you're saying is regarding the general situation in the Tanakh class, right? Yes. And I understand that you spoke with other parents and yes. Okay, and another thing you're talking about is Moran's learning. Now, certainly these two things are connected, but let's try first to focus on the reason that you came here today, which is to think about how we can help Moran, and that is actually our mutual goal. Alright, but I don't see how you can separate the two things. I'm telling you again, I've talked with other mothers. I'm not speaking only on behalf of Moran. I'm speaking on behalf of all of the concerned parents. There's a problem here in class. I don't know. Maybe you really. I don't know. Maybe you're not structuring the material for them. I'm not present in your classes. I'm not familiar with the learning process. But I do see the results, and they are very problematic. So this needs to be fixed. I don't know how. Okay, look, I see that this issue really bothers you and that Moran's success is very important to you, and overall, we have the same goal. Because Moran's success is important to me as well. So we're on the same side here, and there's no reason for confrontation here, okay? So let's see how we can actually work together, okay? I know Moran from class, her performance and conduct there. You know her from home. So if we think together, we can actually help Moran and figure out the best way to help her. And hopefully, that would also help you feel better because I know how important this issue is for you. You came here for this during a work day. Let's try to understand what Moran's difficulties are. Where do you see her difficulties in Tanakh? Okay, I see a very untidy notebook. None of her other notebooks look like this. Yes, she doesn't have notes from class. She doesn't have summaries. When she does have summaries, they're very unclear. She doesn't understand her homework. She says she doesn't understand in class either. Beyond that, listen, there was an exam now, 3 weeks ago, yes? I sat and studied with her. I sat with her at home. She studied alone as well. She sat all weekend and studied, really studied, and she understood the material at home, but she failed the exam. How do you explain that? That never happened last year. Look, it's very. I. Did I interrupt you? Yes, no. I'm saying if she doesn't understand it in her class, and she doesn't understand at home, and she doesn't understand, she failed the exam, and her grade is suddenly low, then there must be some kind of problem here. Don't you agree? Look, I agree with you that first of all, it's very frustrating that she made an effort, she studied, and you spent time sitting with her as well, and still Moran isn't pleased with her test score. First, I would like to hear from Moran, okay? I would like to hear from her how she sees the problem, to talk to her and try to figure out what's happening. I want to hear what's really going on from her, how she sees her difficulties, where exactly she needs help, okay? Because it's important for Moran to know how to ask for help in the areas where she needs it, okay? It's important for me to pass that responsibility on to Moran also. Now, what do I mean by passing the responsibility on to Moran? I do see that it's a bit hard for her in class, okay? I see that she chats with her friends sometimes. She's easily distracted, okay? And maybe something is bothering her in class. And I would like to sit down with her and figure it out and hear what's going on. And I do think that's her responsibility as well to come and tell me when it's hard for her and ask for help. What is it like at home from your perspective? What do you see there? Is it as hard for her or less? What is it like at home? I don't see. Look, I see that she studies at home, from what I hear. From her, she studies in class as well. So I don't think it's a matter of responsibility. I think that you know what, at home she's got me. She studies with me. Okay, maybe she has trouble studying by herself. She studies with me or with her dad. Mm-hmm. Maybe in class, since there are other kids, it's harder for her maybe. Maybe you really should ask her and hear from her where the difficulty is. Maybe she can come to you. I don't know if there is such a thing and of course. So here's the deal. I have office hours, okay? And Moran knows this. And I'll be happy to sit down with her, and it's important that she knows that part of her responsibility as a student is to come and ask for help when she needs it. Now, look, beyond that, we have a standard curriculum here in school, but it's true that every teacher has their own style, and it's possible that the previous teacher's style, her teaching style, was more suitable for Moran than this year's. I'll sit down, I'll hear from Moran what she needs, okay? Meaning, what is difficult for her. But Moran is just one of 30 students, and that is a reality we have to live with, okay? So it's important for me to hear her out, but it will take place within the existing limitations. Now, it's very important to me that we sit down and talk in the future. Okay, so what? So, will you talk with Moran and will you fill me in or should I call you? No, no. I will call Moran in for a conversation, okay? And I'll check everything that we discussed with her. I'll have an open conversation with her and I want to hear from her. After that, I want us to talk, okay? So, we'll be in touch and you'll fill me in and I'll check in with her more at home. Yes, you clarify with her at home. I'll have a talk with her. After I talk with her, I'll call you. Great. Okay. Good. I'm very glad we talked. Me too. Okay, thanks a lot. With pleasure, with pleasure.